And hello race fans, and welcome here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're getting ready to determine who will be the top 6 drivers that will move on into the main roster for race number 7 in the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series, which is returning this Monday night at 5 o'clock Eastern for the Coca-Cola 600. Hopefully y'all can tune in for that race, but nonetheless, WRLA has unofficially returned after a almost month and a half hiatus, and also to add on top of that everything that has been going on with the coronavirus, which, speaking of which, hopefully everyone is staying safe and practicing social distancing and just doing our part to flatten the curve. But nonetheless, feel like that we're getting close, ever so closer to getting back to doing the other things that we used to do before all this happened. But until then, we're going racing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pace car is off, and here we go. 20 laps here at Charlotte. Who will be the top 6 to move in to the main roster? Here we go. Green flag. It's Caleb Hoffman and Josiah Munsell that lead him to green. And Hoffman gets the early jump getting down into turn 1. Sam Oskin down there on the inside. He's going to take over the second spot, and that will move the number 99 of Wyatt Walker up there to challenge for third as they hit turn 3. The front 3 cars now, single file, and Wyatt Walker's coming down pit road. Trouble early for the number 99 of Wyatt Walker, and Caleb Hoffman leads the first lap of action. Right now, second is Sam Oskin. Third is the number 14 of Josiah Munsell. Then you have Daniel Bouchard running 4th. Marty Johnson being scored 5th. And then the 93, which is being driven by Brittany White this week. She completes the top 6. And these drivers are actually going pretty darn fast through these corners. I see Trinity Anderson right up against the wall. These drivers know that they want to make the first race since March, in the middle of March. So they're going hard, and they're doing what they can to get up there towards the front of the field, or at least try to get inside of the top 6. They know what is at stake here in this race. So Sam Oskin now goes to the lead. Hoffman falls back to third, and now you have the 47 of Bouchard. Looked like he was going to try to make a move for third, but thought twice of it and tucks right back in line. Munsell goes high, and here comes Hoffman to the inside to try to go for second position. They cross the stripe, and Brittany White, holds on to that final transfer spot for the time being. How about Vanellope von Schweetz in that number 46 on the outside looking in? She did not make the Talladega race in the middle of March, this past March actually, but right now she is on, like I said, on the outside looking in, and probably by getting by Megan Jones, she has moved herself inside of the top 6, so she might be able to make her NOS Energy Cup debut. Not if Michael DeFeo has anything to say about it. He dives to the inside and takes over the 6th position. Up front, though, Caleb Hoffman goes back to the lead. Hoffman goes back to the lead. Oskin, he falls back to the third spot as Marty Johnson goes to the inside to try to challenge for third. Daniel Bouchard to the inside as they come off of turn 2, heading down the back straightaway now. These drivers going really wide on this racetrack. Hoffman still holding on to that top position. Bouchard in second. Oskin recovering in the third spot, now going for second. All of these drivers are just driving their hearts out right now as they're trying oh so desperately to get into this race. The Coca-Cola 600, the longest race of the season, and Vanellope von Schweetz has crashed along with Osman Hamid. Oh my goodness gracious! Travis Crampton involved, von Schweetz tumbling side over side, end over end, and the caution flag is out. That is the first crash that we've had in these qualifying races. And that's the first caution. My gosh. What a violent ride for the number 46 of Vanellope von Schweetz. You also saw Osman Hamid and Travis Crampton get involved. Crampton, unfortunately, is not going to make the race. But my goodness gracious. Just as we're getting to halfway in this event, the caution flag comes out. With now just coming to 11 laps to go. What a turn of events here in this qualifying race, and that is going to knock out a pretty good chunk of drivers, at least a third of the field. And we probably are going to have 12 cars once we get back to racing, and approximately maybe 7 or 8 laps left to go. But we'll just have to wait and find out. But until then, you see Caleb Hoffman in that 92. He's been pretty dominant here in this race, and he is your leader. So why don't we go back and take a look at what happened to Vanellope von Schweetz that brought out our first caution in these qualifying races. So looking at what happened here with Vanellope von Schweetz, it looks like that she was going wide through turn 2. So was Osman Hamid. And at the same time, she got on the brakes just a little bit, so that way she didn't get to the inside of Michael DeFeo. She comes down into the path of Osman Hamid. And at this point, they are just along for the ride. And look at this hit. Hard into the inside wall. And that 46 gets launched up in the air and then flips wildly, side over side, end over end. Meanwhile, Osman Hamid gets hit by Travis Crampton, who unfortunately was just an innocent bystander. Not a whole lot that he could have done because he had a windshield full of Trinity Anderson just following behind her. But, man, just look at this number 46 of Vanellope von Schweetz just tumbling side over side, end over end, and comes to rest on all 4 wheels. Man, that was a scary, scary incident. You're riding along with Travis Crampton. He was way in the back when this happened. There's the 46 and 48 going down to the inside, and then they come right back up the track. I can't even put that into words. I cannot even put that into words at all. This is from the visor cam of Vanellope von Schweetz. This is what she was witnessing when she got involved in this crash. She just goes for an extremely wild ride, and man, it's a good thing she got out of that race car and that car teleported to pit road. Well, teleported to pit road first, and then she got out. But nonetheless, unfortunately, Vanellope von Schweetz is done for the day and will not make Race 7 of the NOS Energy Cup Series. But nonetheless, we have Caleb Hoffman, who is the race leader. So why don't we go ahead and get to the restart right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're a half lap away from going back to green flag racing. We're going to restart on lap 13, so that means we will have 8 laps to go when we go back to green. And Caleb Hoffman is the race leader. Running second is Simon Oskin. Third is the 47 of Daniel Bouchard. And then fourth is Michael DeFeo. Fifth, Marty Johnson. Sixth is the 93 of Megan Jones. She holds, or Brittany White, excuse me. She holds on to the final transfer spot. Then on the outside looking in, it's Munsell, Ramsey, Gardner, Hunter. And then the drivers that are currently out of contention and out of the race, after Trinity Anderson, Vanellope von Schweetz, Travis Crampton, Simon Oskin, and Wyatt Walker. He is still sitting on pit road, and he is about to go 10 laps down. Green flag, 8 laps to go. No cars on the racetrack are a lap down, so everybody will restart single file, and we are within the window of 10 laps to go, so no lap cars could line up on the inside. Hoffman still out front. Daniel Bouchard taking a look to the inside. It's the battle for second. Michael DeFeo looking on in the fourth spot as Marty Johnson goes to the bottom. DeFeo left the bottom open for Johnson to just swoop down to the inside and try to take over that fourth place. Meanwhile, right behind them is the battle for the transfer spot. Josiah Munsell has it, and Brittany White is going to take it back, or at least try to. Johnny Gardner going to make it 3 wide for the 6th position. This is all going on behind the front 5, who are battling for positions 2nd through 4th, and then you have these guys over here battling for the final transfer spot. We have 2 different battles on the racetrack going on right now. Megan Jones or Brittany White goes way up high, and Josiah Munsell gets into the outside wall. Coming to 5 laps to go here in this race. Trinity Anderson is also back into the mix, and now she's going underneath of Andrew Ramsey to try to take over that final transfer spot. Ramsey has it, but everybody else, but those 5 other cars behind him, they want it. The question is, though, who wants it more, and who is going to lay it all on the line to go after that final transfer spot? You see Marty Johnson going for the race lead on Caleb Hoffman, and he will clear the 92, or I probably spoke too soon, because Caleb Hoffman is fighting back somewhat on the top side, but give the top position, give the lead over to Marty Johnson. Not for much longer. Here comes Oskin, and as well as the 47 of Daniel Bouchard to the inside, and they're going to go 3 wide for second, actually. Bouchard goes a little wide, and now they're 4 wide coming off of turn 4. And they just barely make it with 3 laps to go. Hoffman right back on the back bumper of Marty Johnson. He'll go to the inside to take over the lead. Down the back straightaway they go. Hoffman goes back to the point. 3 wide for third, possibly no. Bouchard clears both DeFeo and Ramsey, and he'll tuck in the 3rd position. Now they're almost 3 wide for 4th. Ramsey in the 4th position. And right now, the final transfer spot belongs to Nick Martin. And Martin, actually, excuse me, that's Evan Hunter, excuse me. Hunter in the number 64 is now in well inside of the window to where he can make it into the main roster. White flag in the wind, 1 to go, and Marty Johnson is out front. Question is, will he be leading coming back to the checker flag? We're just going to have to find that out here very soon. Down the back straightaway they go one last time. Hoffman taking a look to the inside. Evan Hunter goes down low as well. Here comes Hoffman to the bottom side for the top position. Here they come through 3 and 4. And Hoffman clears Marty Johnson and wins this qualifying race. And the driver that holds on to the final transfer spot is the 93 of Brittany White. Wow. So now Brittany will make her first NOS Energy Cup start since, listen to this, July of 2017. It has been that long since Brittany White has been in a NOS Energy Cup race. But now she finally gets the chance, gets the opportunity to be in a NOS Energy Cup race that is not a Long Island Motorsports entry. And speaking of, unfortunately, the drivers that will not make it in to the main event for Monday's Coke 600, Andrew Ramsey, the number 10 of Michael DeFeo, Josiah Munsell, Johnny Gardner, Trinity Anderson, Vanellope Von Schweetz, Travis Crampton, Sam Oskin, and as well as the 18, as well as Wyatt Walker, who unfortunately could not finish the race. Still sitting on pit road, bottom right-hand side of your screen, 18 laps down. So that was probably the most exciting qualifying race that we've ever had so far this season. We might have more later on, but we'll just have to wait and see. But that's it for qualifying races. Now we have pole qualifying for all 42 cars coming up next right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway to get ready for race 7 of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series.
Long, long ago, in a faraway land, there lived a young man named Daniel. When Daniel was a boy, he was taken from his home in Judah to live in a city called Babylon, where he went to school in the palace of the Babylonian king. Daniel missed his home very much, and every day he prayed that God would take care of his family and his friends and look after him too. God heard his prayers and helped Daniel become wise as he grew older, till everyone in the palace knew of his wisdom. Then one night, while Babylon was sleeping, the king had a dream.
Welcome back here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we are going to be doing qualifying now for Monday's race to determine the starting lineup for the Coca-Cola 600 Race 7 of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series, and also the return of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series for the first time since Talladega, which was in the middle of March. First car out on the racetrack, that is the number 84 of Noah Clifton. Clifton, who won at Rockingham earlier this year. That is currently his only NOS Energy Cup win on the circuit thus far. We have other drivers coming out on the racetrack. I see William Brock in the 62 coming out on the track. Same for Emmanuel Hartnett. Eric Scott working his way out. There's Sebastian Cuculon, and there's Nathan Stapleton in the number 97. Last week, he just recently turned 18 years old, so just want to give a good old proper welcome to adulthood for Nathan Stapleton, driving the Credit One Bank colors for Monday's race. Stapleton, his team has just been really strong in the early going of this year. Stapleton got all 4 of his cars in the Daytona 500, and Fitzy won the pole for Phoenix. Also, Madison Tull won the pole for the 500. Nathan Stapleton won the pole for the Auto Club race and won the Auto Club 400. And now Nathan Stapleton looking for his second win of the season. And where is he going to sit on the qualifying charts? 28,974 for the 97 of Nathan Stapleton. He is en route to winning on yet another pole. So far, I mean, it's even though it is early here in these qualifying sessions, there's Andy Thomas in the 23, Evan Hunter to the top with a 28.827. There's Alex Bonsignor in the number 22, Jack Lagasse right behind them in the number 38, and we got other cars on the racetrack like Haley Walker in the number 25. How about Marty Johnson in the 61, who just topped the charts with a 28.681. So he currently is the fastest right now. And also, I did announce last week that WRLA will get a 2021 season. So the drivers are very ecstatic and they're very excited to get back to racing in 2021 with a brand new rules package. Breaking the fourth wall, by the way. We're using the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series 2019 mod. But these drivers are pretty excited to use this new package, and we're probably going to see some really good racing in 2021. There's the number 89 of Quentin Moore, top of the charts. He was at the top of the charts with a 28.608. Now it's Emily Anderson with a 28.552. Emily currently still has one win on her resume in her NOS Energy Cup career. That came at Texas in 2017. This racetrack is a similar configuration to Texas Motor Speedway, and Emily Anderson could definitely have something up her sleeve once the green flag drops in the Coke 600. There's a pretty good chance that fuel mileage may determine who wins the race. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens when we get the green flag at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Caleb Hoffman on top with a 28.550. That's 2 1,000ths of a second faster over Emily Anderson, just barely. Then 3 1,000ths of a second behind her is Ben Erickson with a 28.555. There's the number 24 of Nathan Orman. Recently, his team has just been knocking down all cylinders. They've been getting some really good runs with both him and Sebastian Coquelin. They've both been both of these drivers have definitely been really been turning the Nathan Orman Motorsports operation around. They've just had not gotten off to the start that they wanted to way earlier this year in the Daytona 500. If you remember, all the way back in February, Nathan Orman had to come to pit road on lap 1 of all times, and he finished dead last, just a handful of laps down. I think 3 laps down in the Daytona 500. That is a race that definitely Orman would want to forget. But nonetheless, Nathan Orman looking to have himself a good race in the Coca-Cola 600 on Monday. Same could be said for his teammate, Sebastian Coquelin. So right now, as we're coming down to less than 10 minutes to go, your top 10 goes as follows. 92 of Caleb Hoffman sits on top of the charts with his 28.550. That has currently remained untouched thus far. Emily, what in the world am I seeing here? Ryan Gondillo was just literally all over the back end of Danny Bouchard's machine, and Bouchard had just recently went out of the pit road, and now he's coming back out on the racetrack. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of stuff in my mouth. But anyways, your top 10 for this qualifying session, with now coming down to 8 minutes to go. Caleb Hoffman still on top. Emily Anderson second. Then third is the 96 of Ben Erickson. Fourth, Jesse Turner. Fifth, Quentin Moore. Sixth is the number 81 of Mark Grant. Seventh, Joshua Cornish. Eighth, Elijah Gordon. Ninth, Daniel Voiles, our winner from Talladega. And rounding out your top 10 is Zachary Taylor. Taking a look through the field. There's Elijah Gordon in the number 77, carrying brand new colors to the Papa John's mobile for the Coke 600. Carried the Papa John's scheme back in 2017. It was a far different scheme than what this one is, and in my opinion, it looks way better than the paint scheme that Elijah Gordon had back in 2017 for Papa John's. So Gordon definitely definitely pretty confident and very excited to get the WRLA season back underway. Same can be said for guys like Zachary Fitzwater in the shell colors for this week. For this week's race, there's Stephen Colon in the number 4. Recently came off of his best race of the season back at Talladega, and right now he's 15th on the charts with a 28.753. There's Cody Smart in the 2. Speaking of, he is 18th on the charts with a 28.777. And he's all over the back bumper of Stephen Colon. And we're going to go ahead and find Zachary Taylor. There he is. Right now, 10th on the charts. 28.673 for him. There's Joshua Cornish in the number 87, now carrying the Armor All colors for the Coke 600, the exact same paint scheme that he drove back in 2017. Right now sits 7th with a 28.622. And Cornish, our winner from Phoenix earlier in the season, is definitely poised to get his second win of the year. I believe we've had 6 different winners this year. So we've had Josiah Munsell, who has won the Daytona 500. We have also Joshua Cornish, who won at Phoenix. Nathan Stapleton, who won at Auto Club. Noah Clifton, who won at Rockingham. And then race 5 was Bristol. Al Lagasse won that. And Daniel Voiles won Talladega. So we've had 4 Chevrolets go to victory lane and 2 Fords thus far. A Toyota has yet to win a race. Well, actually, sorry. All 3 manufacturers have won a race. My bad, I'm sorry. But Chevrolet still leads that category of manufacturers getting the most wins thus far. Chevrolet with 4, Ford with 2, and Toyota with 1. So now we're coming down. We're getting stuff set for race 7 of the NOS Energy Cup Series, and so far, chances are that pretty much anybody can win these races. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and I don't think Eli Bright or Henry Williams were in the right place at the right time. They both got together going into turn 3. It looked like Henry Williams drove into the corner a little too hard and got into the left side, the driver's side door of Eli Bright's car. Taking a look at where Eli Bright is. Bright is 23rd with a 28.804. And everybody's times are looking pretty competitive. All these other drivers' times are separated by at least... let me start over. The difference between the first and last place cars in qualifying, they are separated by 4/10. That's how competitive these drivers are, and that's how competitive that they're going to be in order to ensure that they're going to do really well or win the race. Only one winner, though, and 41 other losers, unfortunately. But still, nonetheless, it's still going to be a very good show. And Nathan Stapleton, apparently, his pit box is all the way... Wow, okay. So Stapleton's pit box is right there, right in front of the officials. I don't know if you saw it, but nonetheless, his pit box was he pretty much stopped right at the line right there. That's where the extra pit box goes, and You don't want the misfortune of having that pit box. And right now, Alex Hawkins, unfortunately, is going to have that misfortune of having the 42nd pit box, which is all the way back here, just after the commitment line. So we're just down to less than 2.5 minutes to go here in Coca-Cola 600 qualifying from here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I'm surprised that Caleb Hoffman's time of a 28.550 has remained untouched ever since he laid down that fast lap. So far, everybody's times have just been pretty much the same. And there's Daniel Voiles, who won at Talladega in mid-March. And his time right now is a 28.659 for the Rockstar Ford Fusion of Daniel Voiles. There's Carter Friesen down there on the inside, just cuts up in front of Voiles. And Voiles going to put the crossover on Carter Friesen. I don't think Voiles liked that one bit. But now, those guys are side by side for track position on the racetrack. Not for official race position, but it's for track position. And there's the fastest guy on the racetrack right now. That's Caleb Hoffman. Coming in for some tire service, getting those Goodyears changed out. And we currently are down to 1 minute remaining. There's Betty Johnson in the number 83. 19th on the charts, 28.773. Johnson is yet to get a NOS Energy Cup Series win. Same for her teammate, Annie Thomas. Daniel Voiles has already pretty much gotten ahead on that scoreboard. So now, we've yet to see Johnson or also the number 23 of Annie Thomas get a win. Looks like Evan Hunter got the outside wall just coming out of turn number 4, and we're going to have some extra time added to the monitor. So now these drivers have an extra 30 seconds, so they'll be able to get one more lap down before qualifying is over. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because all of these drivers pretty much have not really made any sort of move up the board, up the scoring charts, and pretty much the times are finalized. So that will mean that Caleb Hoffman is your pole sitter for the Coca-Cola 600. Lining up alongside him will be Emily Anderson. I can't find Caleb Hoffman anywhere. He must have disappeared. Then row 2, we'll see Ben Erickson and Jesse Turner. Row 3, Quentin Moore and Mark Grant. Row 4, Joshua Cornish and Elijah Gordon. And row 5, Daniel Voiles and Zachary Taylor. And that will be... And we have a crash just at the tail... Oh my goodness. Well, it's a good thing that the session's over. And it's also a good thing that it doesn't matter if you crash in qualifying, because you do not have to go to the back if you get a backup car out. But nonetheless, that is your top 10 that will lead the field to the green flag in Monday night's Coca-Cola 600. Hopefully you guys can tune in for that race. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a wild one. It's gonna be crazy, but it should be very exciting as well with the great racing that we saw earlier in the qualifying races. We'll definitely probably see something similar in the Coke 600. Maybe a few wrecks here and there because of the bigger field that is 3 times the size as what we saw in the qualifying race, and possibly fuel mileage could play a huge factor in determining who wins the Coke 600. Until then, want to thank you guys a lot for watching. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have not considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that about does it for me. I'm Elijah Leonard from the Leonard Station, signing out, and I will see you guys on the very next video.